Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm David Healy, and Brooke, you look like a hamster. Or you look like you're from the Hamptons. That's what I meant.
I
Sorry.
wish I looked like I was from the Hamptons. I'm gonna be real. I look like
I don't even
a
know if you get
mess.
that reference.
I don't.
Okay,
No
well, you
idea.
didn't watch House of Villains, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. But while you're here, why don't you do us a favor and get yourself a cup mug? Yes, you can get one at lanagcreations.etsy.com. And if you look to the right, there's a QR code that will take you right to the shop. You can get your cup mug. You can favorite the shop. You can send us a picture and a message. We do ship domestically and internationally, so there are no excuses.
Real. And hi, everybody. I'm Brook. I'm not Lana. Lana's under the weather, so I'm here. Hi. And you know what? Sure. There's a reason I'm saying that because there's a couple of things this week that I looked at and I said, you know what? Sure. Mostly aimed
Very
at the
fair.
singing shows this week. You know what? Sure.
Fair. I mean, it was a rough week to have a specific name in reality TV. Genevieve, I'm so sorry to you if you're on reality TV this week. But yes, we are ready to round up the week and give you the rundown on all of these episodes. So please do us a favor. Please subscribe to the channel because we have a goal. We're trying to get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting really close. So we want to give you all things competitive reality TV here. We're talking about Australian Survivor. We're talking about Survivor 50, House of Villains. Over at the Drag channel, we're talking about Drag Race 18. And if you're interested in all of that and more, we're bringing it to you right here on Reality Rundown. So we are, like I said, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're about halfway there. We're almost at 500. So things will change. Things will get better if we can get to 500 at least. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Give us feedback on this show too. We love comments. Tell us which shows you're interested in, which ones you like us talking about here on Reality Roundup, and which ones you don't care about. And like this video, share it too. Be sure to follow us at the Cup Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. All of our social media links are in the description below. So, shall we get into some reality TV, Brooke?
I think so. I think it's time to.
I think so too. Yes, we are starting off with our singing and variety shows. And as always, we're starting with American Idol. Yeah, this was an interesting week. We are at our top 14. It is the Songs of Faith. And before we even got to any performances, we found out which 6 people got the cut. So the eliminations this week were Abayomi, Genevieve Hayward, Cutter Bradley, Madison Moon, Micaiah, and Ruby Ray. Some brutal cuts there.
I'm not happy, but like some people had to leave, I suppose. Yeah. But at the same time, some choices were made.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're looking at this top 14 and Micaiah's not there. I'll just say that. That's where I'm at. Was her performance in the Ohana round her best performance? No. But at the same time, I kind of thought she would just go through automatically. I'll be 100.
Really?
Yeah, I just think she's had a really strong... I thought she would have built the audience support to get through without having an amazing performance in the Ohana round, and I guess I was just wrong. I mean, to be fair, if we know anything about American Idol, it's the fans like surprising us and throwing us curveballs at the last minute when it comes to voting. But wasn't my personal list of people I would cut for the most part. But you know what? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we should have had Cutter Bradley go through and cut another woman, right? Have 6 women
Absolutely.
eliminated
Have
instead of
cut
5.
6 women in the Ohana round. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Can't work
mean,
it out.
as
I
far
don't
as
know.
as far as Micaiah goes, like she was absolutely one of my favorites going into the top 20. But like Lana and I have talked about, I know it's really hard when there's so few performances. Every performance matters, so it's hard to have an off night and get through still. And I do think it was unfortunately her worst night. For me, the biggest shock was Abayomi. I thought she was really, really good
Mhm.
with Mama Knows Best. Like it was her best performance. So I was really disappointed she didn't get the votes. Same with Genevieve. I thought that was one of her stronger performances. Yeah, and we just got a lot of mediocre guys getting through for no reason.
Real. Well, I mean, if you know anything about your American Idol history, you'll know that America likes voting through mediocre men. So, I mean,
Mhm.
really, we shouldn't be surprised. Um, I'm just gonna be blunt here. Kind of shocked Cutter Bradley didn't go through. Not that I thought he should have, but given historical precedents, um, I would have thought he would have went through. I could have seen a world where like maybe Brayden could have got cut instead of
Yeah.
Cutter. But I
You
mean
know
I'm
who
not
I
gonna
was worried for?
who
I was really
Brooks.
worried for Jesse, actually. I mean, for me, Jesse's somebody who I always thought could be a winner, but I was looking at some polls after those first 2 weeks of the top 20, and Jesse was extremely low for his group, like bottom 1 or 2. I honestly think that's why they saved him for the last reveal for the top 14 because I think he barely made it, which is shocking.
I'm just gonna be blunt. If Jesse did not make the top 14, I was not gonna watch the rest of the season. I'll just be honest. And I know I've said that before about other shows, but being 100, there's people on this season of American Idol that have earned their slot deeper in the competition, and I thought Jesse's performance in Ohana was incredible. So if Jesse had not made it through, I would have been quite befuddled and not exactly thrilled. Um, I am happy with most of the names that went through. I'm still shocked that Micaiah didn't go through, and honestly, Abayomi too. But like at the same time, I don't like the format they used for this of having 10 of the
Yeah,
performances 1 week and then 10 of the performances the next week. It just created too much mess for me. Um, I think they should just make this a one episode, let the judges pick the top 14 and move on if we're going to do another round in Hawaii, personally.
fair. I could see that. But speaking of the top 14, we did have our songs of faith. So let's talk about our highlights. So I'll let you go first, Brooke. Who was one of your highlights from this week?
Jordan McCullough, where have you been? What are you doing? What?
What do you mean, where has he been?
Okay, in the grand scheme, he has performed very well, but I haven't had him like high up my ranking. What? Are you serious? Um, cannot believe I'm saying this. I think he was my favorite this week, which is kind of wild. But like comparatively, because there are people in this top 14 that I really like, and I don't dislike Jordan, but I haven't really like loved Jordan. Maybe it's because I also really like the song, but at the same time, he was just amazing. Um, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Carrie Underwood. So an incredible, and I want to make it clear. This since they started doing songs of faith, it's been one of those things that's harder for me to connect to because I'm not a religious person. And I know that's not the entire message of Songs of Faith. Like, there's other things that are going on in this round. But I was wowed by Jordan this week. I can't even. I was gagged.
Well, let me just say welcome, welcome aboard the Jordan train, because Lana and I, we've been singing his praises since the beginning. He's absolutely one of my favorites. I think he's incredibly consistent. I usually I like to start with one of my like lower of my favorites and go upwards. But thanks to Brooke, I'm doing the opposite because Jordan was my number one this week. He sounds like
Yeah, I
he's
would
sung
agree.
this hundreds of times. He's a
Probably
worship
has.
leader. Yeah, he's a worship leader. I think Murfreesboro. So I'm sure that I'm sure that this is like the perfect week for him. He sung this so many times before. It was incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think he's really solidifying himself as a front runner, and I love to see it.
I mean, I
I'll go with
yeah.
yeah, I'll go with since we started with my or both of our number one, I'll go with my number two for this week. Um, so it's another one of my absolute favorite people this season. It was Kendall. She sang Nothing But the Blood of Jesus. I love her voice so much, and I love this arrangement of the song. It was a little bit more upbeat than I'm used to hearing this song, and it had like this folksy driving melody. She wasn't playing guitar, and it did not detract from me at all. I just thought she was so good. I really think Kendall is somebody so special in this group. She's another person that I could see winning, and I honestly, she might be my number one pick out of this whole group.
Mhm. It was interesting to me because it's something that I like is when people take like a very classic hymn and use it for this round and make it a little bit more contemporary. Um, and it's something that I always find interesting rather than people just, trolling the top 40 Christian contemporary list or like,
Mhm.
classic contemporary Christian music like that, or, contemporary music that is somewhat faith based. I mean, some of these songs are not even religious whatsoever. But it was I like it when people do stuff like this because it does remind me that a lot of music is timeless. And I think, was Kendall one of my absolute favorites of the week? No, but did I still really like her performance and her voice? Yes, I think she did a really good job this week. Um, so yeah, I can't fault you on this one, David. I think she did a really good job.
Okay. Who else did you like?
I mean, I feel like I'm a broken record because I come in here singing the good word of Brooks every week, but like, it was great. It was lovely. Um, I don't think you can. I can't really explain how special Imagine is as a song. If you've heard it, you understand. Um, but the way Brooks performs, there's just a certain magic to everything that he does. And this is no exception. I think this was just an incredible vocal, incredible performance, and a really beautiful note in this week. Because again, when you're on American Idol and you're doing faith in general on this show, a lot of the time it does, go straight to religiosity, and it's nice to see just a beautiful song about what you hope can, like, God, I love this song. And I think Brooks is just so talented, so incredible, and I'm very happy Brooks made it through to the top 14 because I was a little bit worried because sometimes they don't like putting people with unique voices into the top. Like America is very weird when it comes to unique voices and voting on singing shows because a lot of the time they'll be like here for it and putting them through, and then other times they just get shoved away for no reason. So I'm quite happy with this, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean Brooks was one of my favorites as well this week. I think it's always a risk. Well, this is only the second year they've had the Songs of Faith category, but last year it was at the top 20, and only 10 people got voted through by the audience. The judges got to pick some wild cards. But last year, what I remember is you could almost like completely divide it in half by people who actually sang religious songs, and those people, almost all of them got voted through, and the people who didn't sing like an actual straight up religious song, almost all of them did not get voted through to the top 10. So it does make me a little nervous just knowing that precedent and him singing this song. There's a few others that also didn't sing a religious song, and I hope they don't get penalized for that, because I thought this was one of his stronger weeks. He was
Mhm.
six for me overall. But what I like about Brooks is I think he is somebody who is a star beyond live performances on American Idol. Like
Mm.
he will be incredible on a record. He will be incredible in concert. I don't know if his whole vibe is perfect for this format of a singing show, but he has such star potential. And I absolutely love Brooks, and I definitely hope he continues for quite a while in this competition. Next for me, though, number 3 is my girl Ray. She can't do any wrong for me. I love Ray so much. She sang "Up to the Mountain" by Patty Griffin. I personally, like when I hear this song, I can't help but think about season 9. Crystal Bowersock sang this, and it was an incredible performance.
My
By far,
Rob
one of my favorite.
queen. My
Yes,
Rob queen.
Bully the wise.
Bully the wise.
Same page.
For the record, okay, so I vividly remember season 9 of American Idol because my family, we go to church, and the pastor's wife was a massive Lita Wise fan, and I was a massive Crystal Bowersox fan, and I was very triggered when Lee won the show, and I'm still to this day triggered that Lita Wise won American Idol.
Yeah, he's the worst winner, easily.
I'm pondering that. I'll let you back by the end of the episode.
Casey and Crystal were my favorites, but we're derailing a bit. Ray, I was nervous about her singing the song just because Crystal was so good, and I don't think she lived up to Crystal's performance, but she had a different spin on it. It wasn't very similar to what Crystal did. And I do think she took a little bit to find her legs, but the second half of the song, when she really like gets into what she can do, all of her power, all of her range, I thought it was incredible. So I really love this for Ray, as usual.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not shocked when Ray performs well at this point. I'm kind of expecting it, and I wasn't let down. So good. Okay, it's kind of hard to explain, but when you get to a point with certain people on shows like this, it's just like, yeah, of course, like Ray did well, yeah, sure.
Reliable,
like reliable, exactly. She was doing great, lovely stuff this week from Ray. I'm not shocked. I'll put it that way. Last person I really wanted to talk about is Jessie. And I've seen some mixed reactions online. I'll be 100. I don't get that at all, but whatever. Very solid performance of a song that I like quite a bit, so I'm not going to harp on it too long. Jessie should still be in winner contention on this season of the show, and if he does, for some reason, go home based on the frequency of these fan polls putting him lower, I'm gonna be real pissed. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't hate me because I love Jessie. He's somebody I've been rooting for since the start. This was actually number 12 out of 14 for me. I think this was his worst performance so far. He kind of overdid it with the vibrato for me. He had a little bit. Yeah. He struggled a bit, like hitting that high note as well. So I just know he's capable of a lot better than what he did this week, and I really hope the audience can remember that. I am nervous about him being, for me, one of the weaker performances of the night, and knowing he doesn't have that like built up fan base that I expected him to have. So if he does get eliminated, I will not be surprised, but I will be incredibly disappointed. I had 2 other highlights that I'll quickly touch on. My number 4 was Philman Lee singing "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner. I thought it was an incredible song choice. I'm still nervous because it's probably the least song of faith out of any of the songs for the night. But his voice, it gives me chills. Like he just feels of that era, and I thought this was an incredible performance from him. He's also becoming somebody who's very consistent for me. And my number 5 was Keela Richardson singing "Gyra" by Evolution Worship. I've said this before, and I had forgotten about it till this performance, but she gives me Karen Clark Sheard, who's one of my favorite gospel singers. Like, she had that vibe during this performance, and I was living for it. This feels very much in her wheelhouse. I think she's like Jordan, where this is something comfortable for her. She had a commanding stage presence, and I think she's another person who's very popular with the audience, and I hope she lasts for a while. So,
Yeah. I do want to quickly touch on the ending of this episode real quick. Two things.
Yeah.
One, the okay, I'm quite happy with the way they acknowledge, like, yeah, we're not able to come to a fully accurate result right now. So next week we're gonna send people home at the beginning of the show. You can make that standard. I don't care. I would be fine with
Right.
that. Because it gives you time, especially with the social media voting that y'all are doing right now, which I still think is a terrible, terrible, terrible move. If you need more time to get the vote together, take more time to get the vote together. The last thing we need is somebody going home because they performed late in the show or something like that and they didn't have time to get the vote accrual, or because we tallied the votes wrong. I think good on you for acknowledging it instead of forcing an elimination arbitrarily. I appreciate it, American Idol. But yeah, Carrie Underwood, in my opinion, having the single best performance of the night, and I'm kind of irritated saying that because I don't like her. I don't like her. I feel like I made that clear last time I showed up to talk about American Idol. I just don't like her. And there's a lovely quote that I feel is very relevant here. To quote Dragula Titan season 2 contestant Abora, "Isn't it worse? Isn't it awful how the worst people are the most talented?"
Yeah. No, I'm with you completely, because like when they said she's doing her second annual performance of How Great They Are, I'm like, come on, she doesn't know any other like hymns that she could sing. But then when she started singing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot how incredible this was last year, and it was just as incredible this year. I did like the addition of having a few of the contestants from last year. We had Colby, we had Kanan, we had Philo. Yeah, they all joined, and they all sounded great. I think Kanan was just like a child last year, and I think the 1 year has made such a difference in the way he sings. Like, this was incredible. Love this. They can keep doing this every year.
Yeah, all three of them should have done a little bit better than they did last year, in my opinion. Specifically, Philo, I think, should have done a little bit better. But yeah, beautiful performance, and I just realized that if they do this again, that means with the same like concept of the platinum ticket winners coming back for this, who's going to be doing it this next year, and I don't want to have to wait a year for that. I'll just be 100.
Who's it? Okay, it's got to be Jordan, Keela, and
Jordan,
Micaiah.
Kendall, and Brooks would be who would do it.
Okay.
This group of people. I think that would be a very interesting performance. Is why I'm curious to see how that would turn out.
Do you have any predictions or hopes on who gets eliminated? Because we're losing 2 people.
Predictions? I don't know. I think Brayden might be in trouble because I feel like at this point he's just not really getting any of the like vocal fan support, even like the vocal minority. Like I'm not seeing like, because the thing with American Idol is that it's not that you need to like consistently be in like the top 5 or top 6 performances. You just need to be about 5% of like 3% of people's top 1. And if you're not the top 1 for somebody, then you're not getting the vote. And I feel like that might end up be where Brayden's at after this week. I just haven't seen anybody like supporting him on socials really compared to a lot of other people. Beyond that, I don't know. I do think we're going to lose 2 guys this week. I'll just be blunt. I don't think any of the women are in remote danger of going home this week. I'll put it that way. So I don't know beyond that. I think it's a tough call beyond maybe Daniel. I don't know.
Ooh, I hope not.
I hope not. It's just it's the same thing. It's just based on I haven't really seen anybody like writing for Daniel on socials.
That's fair. I mean, if I got my way, especially based on this week and a collection of the previous weeks, my people I would cut would be Lucas Leon for sure, and Chris Tungseth, uh, who I thought was the worst this week. I thought for sure one of the people that I would want to see go is Jake Thistle, but I thought this was by far his best performance.
Oh yeah, of course, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. But I think we've talked about American Idol enough. So you ready to talk about something else? Okay, let's move on to The Voice.
The Voice.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, I'm gonna complain real quick before we get into the actual performances. No stealing the knockouts again? Okay. So what I'm hearing is you want to make your show worse, NBC. You want to make your show less interesting. Not even okay. Last season, I thought it was really stupid when they had that stupid mic drop thing that they threw in, like, ha ha ha, Rose Parade. But this year, it's a shortened season anyway. Like, you have less battles to go through and less knockouts to go through. You can do a steal and it will not hurt anything. It will keep your pace, in fact. But that's not even my biggest complaint with this episode. What are you doing here, CeeLo Green? I thought we didn't want you around anymore. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, sir? We don't.
Oh, really?
I don't want him. I do not like him for a variety of reasons.
I thought it was a fun addition to the episode. I love the pockets and the fortunes. He
has a sexual battery case against him. I'm sorry. Him being here is gross. I don't care. I do not like this man. I don't care how good of a singer he is. He has some really incredible music. I think Crazy, when he was with Gnarls Barkley, is one of the best pop songs of the 2000s. I think that song is incredible. I think Forget You is an incredible pop song. Him as a person, I do not need to see his face anywhere. Get rid of this man. Like, I do not want him here. I don't like him. And him being here is icky, especially considering the fact that if you're going to bring back another coach to be the mentor for this season, for Adam and John, right? You have so many options of choice that you could do for that. There are so many coaches that have been on The Voice that you can have show up to be a mentor for this round. So yeah, I'm not thrilled to see him here, and he's also doing the decisions for the All-Star stuff next week, and I'm not happy about that either. So
okay, yeah, I think it's worth talking about how the rest of the season's going to go, because this kind of caught me by surprise. But yeah, we had 6 of our 9 knockouts this episode, so we have 3 more next week, and I'm assuming next week we're also getting the All-Star thing, as you alluded to. So we have each of the coaches have 2 of their winners, or in John's case, he only has 1 winner. So he has a winner and a finalist. And I guess they're doing their own side competition. But what's crazy is, so that's happening on Monday this week. And then next Monday, we have our top 9 perform. And then the day after, we have the top 4 finale. So we have 3 episodes left. And I just was caught off guard by how quickly the season is ending. It's wild.
It's dumb, I think would be the word I would use. It is dumb. I don't know why we keep on trying to reinvent the wheel on The Voice. The wheel is totally fine. Why do we need to reinvent what was working to begin with? I don't know. But yeah, these knockouts were mostly good. Like, I'm not gonna knock the performances. I think
you're not gonna knock the knockouts.
Not gonna knock the knockouts.
Yeah.
Well, I am gonna knock the knockouts, but I'm not gonna knock the performances that took place in the knockouts. There was a certain choice that was made that I do not necessarily agree with.
Okay. I'm curious if it's the same one for me.
We'll get to it.
Yep. Yeah, let's go in
Now,
order. So our first knockout was Team John. We had Moses G singing "Let's Get It On" by Marvin Gaye, and we had Lucas West singing "New York State of Mind" by Billy Joel.
now this
What were your
Lucas,
thoughts on these?
I like this Lucas. This Lucas is great. I like this Lucas a lot. Um, yeah, it was the correct call. I fully think. I think Moses did a very good job with a very difficult song. Let's just be 100. But there's something so lovely about Lucas's tone, and he made this song so soulful. It was so gorgeous, like it was beautiful. Like I can't even. It was incredible. Um, so yeah, Lucas winning, yeah, duh. I think that was by far the correct decision. Do I wish Moses would have made it through? And in another world would have been stolen in the knockouts, so that way we could go to a potential top 12 and then have a quarterfinals into a semifinals so we could actually get more performances from people on The Voice, because the crazy thing about The Voice is we want to hear them sing. Um sorry. But yeah, I think Moses in a different season would have probably been stolen here, because I think Moses did a very good job, but Lucas won.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. So I ranked everybody for the night. Lucas was my third favorite of the night. Moses G was my sixth favorite of the night. Lucas just sounds like a natural on a song like this. I love
Mhm.
New York State of Mind. I loved him playing the piano. Like song choice was key here. Moses G, I thought sounded good, but there was something about his voice that doesn't sound quite right on Let's Get It On. I think it's because I'm so used to the Marvin Gaye version, and his voice does not sound like Marvin Gaye's at all. So it didn't quite work to me as much as or work for me as much as I'd hoped.
Yeah, I will say it is very hard when you have a song that is so inextricable from its performer. Performing it
Yeah.
on a show like this can be really hard. Like it's the same reason anytime somebody tries to do like it gets permission to do Prince, I always worry, because a lot of songs just it's hard to separate them from their artist. But I
Mm,
think he did a really good job in spite of that. Um, do I think he won? No, I do think Lucas won this knockout,
mhm.
but
Yes.
it was not as close as far apart as I thought it would be on paper. I'll put it that way.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. And John agreed with us. So Lucas does move on to his top three. Then we had Team Kelly. She has her knockout round with her countrymen. So we had J.W. Griffin singing "If It Hadn't Been for Love" by the Steel Drivers versus Houston Kelly singing "Love You Anyway" by Luke Combs.
Um, so quick note, I actually like the Steel Drivers quite a bit, mainly because I'm also just a Chris Stapleton fan. So getting to I like it. I like getting to hear Still Drivers on The Voice. I'll just put it that way. More, please. Yeah, JW won. I don't think it was particularly close either. I'll just be blunt. I think this was. I'm gonna have to think about it because JW's performed pretty well consistently throughout the competition. Might be JW's best performance this season, in my opinion. Um, Houston was good, but was not in the ballpark of winning this one for me. I'll just be blunt. I think Houston was probably like fourth worst on the night, and that's not a knock. I think everyone outside of like two people I really enjoyed this week, but JW blew him out of the water. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you. So for me, I actually had both of them probably lower than you do. JW was my number 8 overall, but he still was a winner for me. I like the bluesy country vibe for him. I'm just not a country fan.
You're just not
Like
coming back.
it
Yeah.
has to be, yeah, it has to be really, really good for me to love it. But I did think he was pretty strong in his own lane. He did seem a little awkward with his stage presence at times. But for me, Houston really confirmed that the wrong decision was made last week, and Tia should have been here because I did not care for this at all. Like, I don't think it was objectively a bad performance. It was just the epitome of fine for me. And I don't want to see just fine performances on The Voice. This was number 12 out of 12 for me. not my vibe. Not my vibe. So yeah, Houston should have been gone last week, and Houston, I think, definitely deserved to be gone this week. So yeah, J.W. Griffin was my winner, and thankfully Kelly made the right decision this week, unlike last week. And J.W. has moved on to her top 3.
Okay, I was trying to be nice by saying he was in the bottom 4 for my performances because I didn't want to like directly call anyone out for being the worst performance of the week. Houston was the worst performance of the week. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm trying to be nice. Okay. I'm trying to like not be so directly confrontational when it comes to my critiquing on The Voice, because I'm quite opinionated when it comes to people losing that I don't think they should. But yeah, JW was in my top 5 this week. I loved this performance, but I get if you're not a country fan that it just didn't translate. That's fine. That makes sense. I get that.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on to the first Team Adam knockout. So we had Alexia J singing "You Give Good Love" by Whitney Houston versus Bae Simpson singing "One Headlight" by the Wallflowers.
Interesting, I think is the first thing I would put here, because okay, I think this was just kind of, I don't understand why this was the knockout that we chose here on this day, Adam, because I don't really think these are comparable performances, really. This is my problem with Adam on The Voice. He always does shit like this, and I have to like try to objectively decide which of these performances is like empirically better. And I do think he made the correct call overall, but I don't think these two should have been matched up against each other in the first place. So I think there were other options. Let me put it that way. So sure. That's just where I'm at. I think they were both really good. I'm not. Adam is weird as a coach. I don't know how to really feel beyond what I've already said.
You know, it's funny because at first I was like, nah, I think you might be wrong. Like, it doesn't matter, the pairing. But, like, seeing the two people that he has going up against each other next week, he very easily could have put these two against the two next week. Like separately, because I think
other two that are left on his team. I don't remember his team.
Jolly, yeah. Which I mean, I would hate to have to lose Alexia or Jolly, but they make sense as a pair against each other. And then Jared, I think would make perfect sense against Bae.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
yeah. But yeah, so this was one of the bigger knockouts for me, and I don't think either of them did bad, but for me, one of them was just significantly better. So yeah, for me, Alexia, I'm obsessed with her tone. I'm obsessed with her voice. I think she's so special. She might be my favorite this season. It's close between her and somebody we're going to talk about soon. But she was incredible with the song. I love the power near the end of the performance. So she was my number 1 of the night. And unfortunately, Bae was number 9 for me. I still liked him. I just think he had some enunciation issues. I think this was a great song for him. It really fit his vibe well, but I just you're just kind of outmatched when you're against Alexia.
Yeah, I think they were both in my top half for the week. I don't want to say who my empirical number 1 is, because I think there was definitely people that I would want to listen to the performances before I like definitively gave that out. I would want to listen to them again. But I don't know. There was just something really nice about Bae this week that I really enjoyed. Again, in another world, he could have been stolen to another team and had the opportunity to perform again, because this is the type of performance that I think Kelly would have absolutely loved to have stolen someone from. But that's just me. That's just my opinion, that, you know, the steals make the competition more exciting, but whatever. You can't tell that I'm upset, can you? No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe. But I think Adam got the vibe that Alexia was the better one, so he picked Alexia to move on to his top 3. Correct. Then we go back to Team Kelly. So we had Liv Sierra singing "Breakaway" by Kelly Clarkson herself, versus Abigail Oakley singing Feather by Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the outcome, but I don't think there was an empirically correct choice here. I think they were both around the same ballpark of performance here. I did slightly prefer Live, I guess, mainly because I just really like Breakaway. I think it's a lovely song. It's one of Kelly's best earlier singles, and I think Liv just did a really good job with it. But I don't think there was a wrong decision to be made here. I think you could have picked either one of them, and I think it would have been okay. Have I enjoyed Liv more in the competition? Yes, and I do think that she would have been who I would have chosen. But had Kelly looked at me and said Abigail won this knockout, I wouldn't have been like, oh, that's a terrible, awful. It would have made sense. I would have been okay with it. And I feel like based on your face, you do not feel the same way, David Healy.
I don't think I feel the same way. Yeah, I think it was a pretty clear win for me. What's really funny is I know my old roommate, he told me a few years ago that Kelly Clarkson does not like Breakaway. I'm like, oh, that's really weird. Like, but apparently it's one of her least favorite songs. And I totally got that vibe when they were doing rehearsals, because she was like, oh yeah, this song's not always the most fun to record, but it can be fun to sing live. And you can have this song after, like, this is your song now. I'm like, okay, yeah, she wants to get rid of she wants to break away from Breakaway. But yeah, I thought Liv was really good. I like the stripped back version that she did. It was really cool. Like, she had her moments to show a lot of restraint and then some power at the end. So for me, I thought Liv was the clear winner. She was number 5 for me overall. It was a strong number 5. But for me, Abigail, she was number 10. And I don't think she was bad. She just kind of had like that coffee shop vibe, just something that's really hard to, like, it's something you can appreciate, but it's hard on this type of stage to compete with somebody who has power like Liv. So unfortunately, I think Abigail was more cute and just was never going to move on in my mind. Yeah. So Kelly did make the same decision as us, and she picked Liv. We moved back to Team John, and we had Sid Milivoy singing Tell Me You Love Me by Demi Lovato, against Natasha Blaine singing Another Sad Love Song by Toni Braxton.
Another really good knockout. I think they both did really well. I absolutely think John made the correct call. I'm not going to harp on it too long beyond that. I think Sid was incredible, and I think this was a really, really great knockout overall. John has slowly been working his way a little bit higher in my overall coach rankings this season. I'll put it that way. But yeah.
Yeah. For me, this was the biggest blowout of the night, personally. Yeah, Sid, I love her voice. Tell Me You Love Me was so good. I will say, like, the first half was not where I expected from her, but by the end, she was hitting some incredible notes. She hit that whistle tone note, and I was kind of blown away. Like, that was so cool. Sid and Alexia, they're the ones that are really fighting for my top spot this season. They're both so incredible. And I will say, Lana, maybe you were right last week, because you were talking about how you didn't love Natasha. I don't think Natasha is bad, but she was very outmatched here. I think this was not a great song for her. Her voice doesn't fit with Another Sad Love Song. She was a bit nasally. It just felt like a big momentum killer. Right after Sid, we got this performance, and I was just kind of let down. So unfortunately for Natasha, John made the correct choice and picked Sid to move on. So Sid advances to his top 3. And then we got our final battle of the night. And notice we both have agreed with all of the decisions from the first 5 knockouts, not battles. But we get our final knockout from Team Adam, and it is Mike Steele singing How You Gonna Act Like That by Tyrese, versus Jeremy Keith singing "Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing" by Marvin Gaye. So this was an interesting battle. So Mike was first, and I thought this was so good. Like this was very radio friendly. Like you kind of get the vibe of who he is as an artist, what his album is going to be like. His voice is just something so unique, and I really got his artistic style, which is what I really appreciated about this performance. His lower register was captivating as always, but he really showed off his falsetto too. And I was like, man, Mike, you really have the range. So this was a surprise. Like last week, I thought Mike was the correct elimination in the battles, but this week he showed like he could be a front runner to me. And then we had the performance by Jeremy, which I thought was good. He has a strong voice, but I don't know that the song was the best choice for me. It was a little generic sounding, but he has incredible range and like vocally there weren't any flaws. I think I wanted to see a modern vibe from him because this felt kind of like the performances we used to get from early American Idol seasons where they were just like really, really good old karaoke songs, you know? So for me personally, I had Mike at number 4 for the night. I really liked it. And Jeremy, I still liked it, but he was number 7 for me.
You know, David, we've been agreeing a lot this week when it comes to the voice, and we're not going to stop yet. I was kind of gagged. I'm not gonna lie. Because okay, I'm just gonna be blunt. I was kind of surprised that Mike made it to the knockouts. I'll be honest. Not that I thought it was like a bad call. I think his performance in the battles was really great, and I don't just like hate that at all. But when I really thought about like who could have, you know, like other people that I thought could have been like, you know, stolen,
Tia,
especially in that episode, Tia. But I was getting there, David. But it wasn't necessarily who I thought was going to make it through. But and I mean, Jeremy has been, you know, like pretty great this season, all things considered. And I was kind of surprised because I thought Mike won, personally, for me. And I'm not going to say that, oh, it was like the most clear cut and dry decision on the planet and like Mike blew Jeremy out of the law. I don't think that. But based on the performances on the night, I would have taken Mike to the next round. That's just me. But again, it's Adam, and Adam's going to do what Adam wants to do. So, sure.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I kind of got the vibe that it was close enough that he just felt like being loyal to somebody who's always been Team Adam and picked him over somebody he had just stolen, which is a shame because I think Mike would have had potential in this finale.
Yeah, it's almost like having steals in the knockouts gives more of a reason for people to, you know, take risks and let artists that they like go, so that way they can maybe flourish under the wings of another coach. So that way it's possible that we don't have to worry about people just letting their steals go in the knockouts. You know, maybe it's like that. I think it's like that. Because I mean, we saw all 3 of the people who got either stolen or saved tonight, and 2 of them went home, and the one who didn't go home was the one who got saved by Kelly. So, I mean, in reality,
right?
The steals didn't matter when it came to John and Adam. They were. I hate to use the term fodder, but they kind of were fodder for them, and I think it was a little depressing. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do want to queue up what we have next week. So each of the coaches have 1 knockout left. So for Team John, it's going to be Grace versus KJ. I'm invested in KJ. KJ is one of my favorites. So right now, I'm rooting for KJ to be selected. Mm-hmm. For Team Kelly, we have Jonah versus McKinley. I like McKinley, so I'm hoping it would be McKinley, but it really could come down to performance on that one. But the one that I'm most curious about is Team Adam. Like we already talked about it. It's Jolly versus Jared. I've said it that I'm not a big country fan, but I think there's something really special about Jared's voice. And Jolly was one of my favorite from the auditions. So that's going to be a close one. I'm nervous about that one.
Yeah. God, I'm just stressed. It's gonna be a stressful talk because I like almost all of them. So I'm irritated with the coaches for these pairings, but at the same time, I'm irritated every year at some sort of pairing decision. So here we are. I want to talk about the All-Star competition that's also happening next week, which is the whole theme of the season is that it's this supposedly this Battle of the Champions thing, but it's not really that. Can we just get a voice All-Stars already? Please. Y'all have had plenty of opportunities to do. Australia has had All-Stars on their show for years. Can we get a season of just returning contestants, please? I would love that. But no, so it's 5 former winners and 1 former finalist. It's almost like casting someone on the season of Battle of the Champions when they only have one. Be the best call. But no shade to John. But I'm just saying Michael Bublé has multiple winners. Niall Horan, multiple winners. They're both available, probably. I mean, we know Michael's available. He's here. So so for John, it's Malin, his only winner, and then Renzo, which interesting choice out of John's catalog of finalists, I will say. Not the worst choice, just an interesting choice out of John's finalist catalog. And then Team Adam is Javier and Jordan. So have fun, everyone else. That's gonna be a rough go against either one of them. But Kelly has my favorite collection of people because she has Jake, who I adore, and Girl Named Tom, who are my absolute favorite winners of The Voice, bar none, outside of like maybe Josh Kaufman. I think those are like my top 2, and I am thrilled to see Girl Named Tom back on The Voice, even if it's just for one performance, because that means I get to hear them sing again for one more performance. And I'm, as always, Team Kelly. So, Team Kelly.
Well, I'll just be Team Adam because honestly, they're the only ones I know. I stopped watching around season 11, I think. So I know Jordan and I know Javier, but that's it. Everybody else don't know.
I want to send you Girl Named Tom's blind audition because I'll put it this way. In what season is this? 28, 29 of The Voice, 29? They are still the only group that has won the show. Period.
Okay.
They are that good. It's a trio of siblings, and they are God, their harmonies are some of the most gorgeous things you will ever hear on the show. I'll send you the clip. Beside the point. I'm excited about that. I would be more excited if Sela wasn't judging it, but beside the point.
Well, I think it's time to move on from The Voice and go to The Masked Singer. Okay, did you watch this finale by any chance?
Oh, I did. I did, David.
Okay. Okay, let me start off by saying this, and you might completely disagree with me, but I think taking the fall off and having like a spring season and then another spring season, I think that was a perfect decision for The Masked Singer because I was really feeling the burnout. And after this season, I was kind of into it. I didn't like all of the choices. I don't think we needed to see Kylie Cantrell throughout the season, but I really enjoyed the people that went far. I thought this was a great top 4. Did I agree with how everything shook out in the finale? Not necessarily, but I do feel a little refreshed, and I hope they keep doing one season a year.
Yeah, I will say I did like them taking the fall off. I mean, we talked about it when it was going on that a while back. We both agreed it was a good call. I'm just gonna say this. I don't even really want to talk about the individual performances because they were all good. Nobody bombed. Nobody was bad. There were performances that were better than others. I firmly disagree with this winner based on the performances that were given on the night. And I know why she won. I 100% know why she won. This is the same thing that they did when Medusa won in season 9, season 8. I don't remember what year Bishop Briggs won. But it's the same thing. It's that we have created a story in the competition, and there is a built-in story for Galaxy Girl winning this show that is there already. Her winning is supposed to be feel good. Like, look at this person. Remember this person who got canceled because they lip synced this one time and it killed their entire career? Now look at them winning the singing competition. She's good. She's a good singer. Ashley Simpson has never not been a good singer. She was not the best performer on the night by any stretch of the imagination. I had her third out of the 4 people in this finale. And even then, that third was very, very, very close between Galaxy Girl and Picasso. I'm not gonna cap. But I just okay. Quick note. I fucking despise Susudio as a song. I hate it. It has been one of my demons in the music industry for as long as I've been alive. I despise that damn song. So Phillips, this is nothing against you, Diva. It is just that you picked a terrible song.
That's funny. Yeah. What's interesting about this finale is, like, going into it, I was certain I knew who everybody was. I was like, okay, I got it wrapped up. I got it figured out. Like, obviously, they spoon-fed me one that I never would have guessed. But the other 3, I'm like, yep, I clocked those. I clocked their voices. Their clues all matched up as well. So I knew, I was, like, as certain as I could possibly be that I knew who each of the 4 people were, but I was wrong on one of them, which blew my mind. Like, I still can't believe how off I was. But yeah, the first round, we had Galaxy Girl doing Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo, Catwitch doing Leave Get Out by JoJo, Picasso singing True Color by Cyndi Lauper, and Crane doing Together Again by Janet Jackson. For me, after hearing the top 4, I do think Galaxy Girl is easily the most outmatched vocally, but I think she picked a good song for her vibe. Picasso was my favorite of this first round. True Colors, I love this performance. I love the song. For me, I'm like, yes, Pat Monahan. Yes, sing. You're doing this. I was kind of disappointed with Crane again.
Wait, Pat from Train? You thought it was Pat from Train?
Positive. Yes. But Crane doing Together Again, I was a little disappointed. I love that song, but there was just something about the performance that didn't quite nail it for me. So honestly, I think Crane was my least favorite of the first 4. Catwitch was good with Leave Get Out, but little generic sounding. For me, this solidified, okay, Picasso is my winner. But I was pretty shocked when we got our first elimination because I was expecting it to be Galaxy Girl. But sure enough, it was Crane eliminated first.
Don't agree whatsoever. Yeah. I am quite offended by it, to be honest.
I thought she was going to be top 2 with Picasso.
On a reality show yet again. I am unhappy. I am quite upset. I'm just going to go ahead and hit back against your statement that Catwitch was generic. Diva, have you listened to the song? I don't know.
Get Out?
Okay, quick note. As someone who has seen JoJo live in concert, okay, I adore her. Okay, her music is great. It's a pop song.
I'm talking tonally. Tonally, there was nothing like unique about Cap, and I loved her last week. But on that song, it felt as cookie cutter, like pop person as possible, and like I want to hear something that if I turn on the radio, oh, I know your voice instantly. And to me, this sounds like a million people.
I mean, you're also
it was still good. It was still good.
a song written for a 14-year-old in mid-2000s pop music to arguably one of the best R&B songs of all time with Run to You. So, I mean, I don't know if I could fully compare the two songs, but
let me tell you, my
she
mind was
amazing.
blown. Like, I was in college when Leave Get Out came out. My mind was blown. Like, I heard the song long before I like looked up anything about JoJo. I thought she was like 25. And then when I found out how young she was, I'm like, are you kidding me?
She's incredible.
Yeah.
Music industry, you did some very rude things to her. I'm glad she's got her own ownership of her own music. As a friendly reminder, listen to the re-recording of all of JoJo's old songs because she does own the masters to all of them. So, you do it for Taylor, do it for JoJo. That's all I have to say about that. But yeah, I definitely think this should have been Galaxy Girl getting fourth here. But, you know, if anything's going to happen to Normani on a reality show is that she's going to be screwed into fourth or third, and that's just where we're at. But this final round, I was certain that Cat Witch was winning this season. I just felt it, and it was one of those like beautiful performances. I thought she was by far the best in this last round. I also despise, like I mentioned, I also despise studio. I think that's always garbage. And it has nothing to do with you, Pugcasso. It has everything to do with Phil Collins' writing. And you know, completely plagiarizing 1999 by Prince, but that's beside the point. I listen to the
I mean, I know the song. I know both songs very well, but I've never thought that.
Yeah. But yeah, not thrilled with this outcome. I know my tagline for this episode was, well, sure, why not? This is not a short why not. This is a why. Why?
Okay, let me run down what the performances were. So first we had Galaxy Girl doing Try by Pink. Then we had Cat Witch doing Greedy by Tate McRae. And then we had Pugcasso singing Susudio by Phil Collins. For me, I thought all three of these performances were better. Or, well, not better. Okay, all three of these were good. The only one that wasn't better for me was Pugcasso, but I still really liked it. I thought it was refreshing hearing him do an upbeat song like this. It was a cool vibe. I enjoyed it a lot. Cat Witch I thought was significantly better this round doing Greedy. She definitely gave strong pop star vibes. And I think once again, Galaxy Girl picked a good song for her style, for her voice, but she's still outmatched. There was never a world where I thought Cat Witch was winning. Because I don't think they would have like shown her throughout the season if she was the winner. And for me, I don't know about you, but I do not think the voting matters. I think production decides everything.
I think for the most part, I agree with that. I think there is definitely a few times in the past where it has just been, this is the undeniable winner of the show, and there is nothing you can do about it. Right. Amber Riley. But
yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of.
Yeah. I just want to know. So yesterday I was out driving and I heard "Gravity" by John Mayer came on Sirius. I was like, "This isn't." There's a cover of this that I really like, and I was trying to like rack my brain as to who it was. I was like, "Wait, no, it's Amber Riley's cover of "Gravity" that she did when she was on The Masked Singer." So I pulled it up on TikTok, and oh god, it still hits. Go listen to her performance of her finale performance of "Gravity." It is, in my opinion, the single best performance we've ever had on The Masked Singer, probably. It's either that or like T-Pain. Like those are like the two that are like in contention.
There's a lot of good ones. There's
a lot of good ones.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our results. Oh, first of all, we didn't even mention Khalid came out for Normani. That was kind of cool to see him.
Wild.
And then he actually sang with her too after she was unmasked. But we find out third place is Cat Witch, and she has Meg Connolly from season 13 introduce her. And there's like a clue about a mousetrap. So they pretty much figured out that it was what is her name again? I've already forgotten.
Kylie Cantrell.
Kylie Cantrell. So yes, good for her. But then I was very surprised when we get the results and it was Galaxy Girl as the winner, because in my head I was so certain that Picasso was winning. But we get our final like clues for Picasso, and Randy Jackson pops up on the screen to talk about our Picasso person. I'm like, how is Randy Jackson connected with Train or Pat Monahan? And then they showed a golden ticket. It showed a golden ticket, and they all started guessing these American Idol people. And I'm like, you all are off. Like, you're so wrong. Like, there's no American Idol person this could be. This is Pat. I'm certain of it. And he takes off his mask, and it's Philip Phillips. And my mind was blown because season 11 of American Idol is one of my favorites. I thought it was an incredibly competitive season. I liked so many people, including Philip Phillips. And that voice did not match the voice that we heard this whole time, because I always think of that lower voice that he had. Like, it was similar more to his speaking voice that we got in this episode. So I was just so like confused and impressed and happy, because I love when American Idol people are like Kat, Clay, Ruben, David Archuleta, Chris Daughtry. I would love every time somebody from American Idol is on here. But yeah, this blew my mind.
You know,
clocked it?
Him getting second here is vengeance for Jessica Sanchez. And you know, that's all it is. She got hers back twice. She won America's Got Talent, and now Philip has lost the Masked Singer. Everything is right with the world. No shade. I like Philip a lot too. But I was okay.
He was better this season than he was on Idol.
I mean, that's no shade. That he's progressed a lot as a singer since then too. So like I do like him. He's just not Jessica Sanchez, and that's okay. A lot of people aren't Jessica Sanchez. I'm not Jessica Sanchez, and that's okay. Yeah, I mentioned it. I just think this is a really weird winner, because I like being able to look back at the Masked Singer winners and be like, yeah, this is a good choice. And a lot of the time, it is a good choice. I just don't think there's a real way to defend Ashley Simpson winning the Masked Singer over like Philip Phillips, over Normani, over Kylie Cantrell, who I think objectively, as much as I want to knock Picasso for making a terrible song choice, objectively they all performed better in this finale than she did. But you know, here we are. Here it is. Oh well.
Yeah. I see what you're saying for sure, but if you think about it, whoever wins, it doesn't really matter. Like, they get like a trophy for winning. Yeah. Nobody was robbed other than Crane of having any performances on the show that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise, at least out of Catwitch and Picasso. So we still got to see them sing their full catalog of songs.
Why is Pangolin not in this finale?
I mean, I was okay with it. But I did. I did think it was kind of an inspirational win. Like, maybe it's with my old age. I don't know. But I was kind of a sucker for it, especially the fact that we got Jessica Simpson out there to do the reveal. That was so cool for me. I love Jessica Simpson. I love that she's finally feeling comfortable enough to come back in the spotlight. She was there for American Idol last year, and now she's here for the Masked Singer. But it was so sweet getting to see her reveal her sister as the winner. I do 100% agree that it was the storyline that gave her the win. I was talking to Lana about that a few days ago, I believe. But yeah, I think that's why she won. And I think the fact that you have Jessica Simpson willing to come to the finale to unmask, I think those two things combined really gave her the win. And you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Was she the best this season? Definitely not. But did it make for a cool story? Sure. Yeah. I'll give it that. But good season overall.
Year. Do you think they're going to take the fall off again? Because I haven't heard anything about like rumors of them coming back in like August or September.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, and usually I feel like we would have that information by now. So maybe they're taking it off. I sure hope they do.
Same.
hmm but I think we are ready for some reality news, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. Where is our reality news?
Well, this just in from Monday. Eurovision Asia is happening in November of 2026. As a very big Eurovision fan, I am quite happy myself. Currently, we have 10 confirmed countries for it, those being in alphabetical order: Bangladesh, Bhutan, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Nepal, the Philippines, South Korea, Thailand, and Vietnam are currently all preparing for Eurovision Asia. It's happening in November of this year. And I'm quite excited. I don't know how many more countries we're going to get than that. They're predicting somewhere in the middle teens. I would love to see Japan take part. I would love to see China take part. I would love to see India take part. There's a lot of countries that I think would do really good here, and I'm really excited to see this happen. And yay! I'm very excited.
You know what's funny? When you said Laos, it definitely reminded me of the one girl that almost made it on Big Brother. Laos. She needs to introduce them at Eurovision.
Quite literally.
Yes. Okay. Well, it is time that we move on to our social strategy segment. Okay, we are going to start off this week with everybody's favorite social strategy show. It is Extracted.
I'm not talking about
which only I am watching. I do kind of wish Alana was here for this one because I think she would have been very pleased with how this episode went. In fact, I had to fill her in a few days ago because I'm like, oh yeah, she would love this result. But yeah, we start off. Where's our banner? Sorry. We start off the episode with. There it is. Okay. RJ, he's in a lot of pain and he's trying to make it back to his camp. And he's already asking to be extracted. So his family is considering it. They're strongly considering extracting him, but they want to just see if he can keep going. So they do not extract him. Doug is also asking to be extracted. His sons aren't even there listening to it. They aren't in the room when he's asking to be extracted. They eventually come back and they're debating if they should take him out. But they also decide we're going to let him push through it. We'll give him one more night and see if he can make it. So the voice over the intercom lets all the family know that someone in headquarters has been deceived regarding surrendering supplies. So the whole trick that David and Daniel had about getting Roman to give up his fire-making supplies, headquarters is not letting that fly. And so they were outed completely here. So Roman's family confronts David and Daniel. They immediately knew it was them. So there's a little bit of an argument going back and forth. Daniel starts throwing other teams under the bus. He's like, hey, we may have done this, but we were not the only team. There were multiple other families here that knew about this fake clue that we created. So immediately throwing people under the bus. And we also see that production lets Roman know about the deception. So he's able to go back to where he left the box with his fire-making supplies and retrieve that. But he was disappointed that obviously there was not going to be some special reward for giving that up. We go back to headquarters and Roman's mom is asking Polly's family if they knew about the fake clue. And they come clean. They confess that they did know about it. They didn't know all of the details, but they were told eventually that it was a fake clue. And they kind of try to make an alliance with RJ's family, it seems like. We also see Doug, his status has changed to red, level red. I'm not sure why. That kind of confused me. Like, I know that he had issues since he saw the bear come to camp, and he's been struggling. He hasn't been able to get a lot of sleep, but I didn't know what specific factors, health wise, had changed his status to level red. So he's still pleading to be extracted, and finally his sons do so. And Doug is out of the game. So we're down to 4 families left. So each of the families are now told by headquarters that they have to line up in order and that the order does matter. So they get in line. We had Roman's family first, followed by RJ's family, then Paulie's family, and Luke's family, unsurprisingly, is last because they're not really fitting in with this group. So they are told that all of these survivalists are going to be banished to different islands and they are leaving their camp. So what happens with the order? We kind of have like similar to a snake draft where each family gets to go in one at a time and they can either pick the location for their family for their survivalist to go to or a supply. But it's basically going to go whoever's first gets to pick first and so on to the fourth. And then that person gets to pick the fifth thing as well. And then it goes back around. So what happens is they all pick their location first. So they have 4 different islands. One of them's barely even an island. So Roman's family picks the best island. RJ's picks the second best. Paulie's picks the third best. And Luke, they get this tiny, awful island. But then Luke's family gets to pick the best amount of supplies, followed by Paulie's family picking the second best. And then RJ's family gets to pick the third best. And here's what's interesting. So, we did see that RJ's family found last episode that intercept card where they can steal a supply drop from somebody. So they have finally decided that they're going to use that and they want to use it on Luke's family. So yes, Luke got the worst island, and now Luke has had his supply stolen. That means he will now be going to the worst island with 0 supplies. But what also was interesting is since Roman's family was last to pick, they also got no supplies. So there was a little bit of bitterness from Roman's family that RJ's family didn't pick the box with no supplies, knowing that they were going to steal Luke's supplies as well. So now there's 2 different survivalists with no supplies. We're right by the finale, so it makes sense. Like, why would his family want to help anybody else? So I completely get it. So all of the survivalists, we see them make their way to the islands, and they try not to get wet. The funniest one was Roman making his way to the island, and he's like, "Here I go," and he just steps over like the smallest stream. Like, it's not even. I don't know how this even qualifies as an island. It looks like somebody took like some dirt and like scratched out a thing and put some water in it. It's not even an island. But everybody else, they had to actually swim with their supplies to these islands. And the biggest priority was like, oh, I do not want to get my supplies wet. So actually, they all did a pretty good job of keeping their supplies dry as they made it over to their islands. But what's interesting is as soon as Luke gets to his island with no supplies, David and Daniel, who have been doing incredibly well strategically throughout the season, I know they're not likable. Lana especially did not like these men, and I cannot blame her. But immediately, as soon as he gets there, they're like, we should extract him. We should extract him. We don't want to see him get to the level all of the other survivalists have been at, where they're suffering, they're pleading to be extracted. We don't want that for our brother. So they extract Luke, which was kind of gaggy. Like, I didn't expect it. And Luke didn't expect it either. When he got the notification that he was extracted, he's like, wait, what? I could have stuck it out longer. But I think they knew that the jig was up because he's there with no supplies. Like, how long could he last? So with that, we are down to our final three teams, and it kind of leaves off on a cliffhanger because we see the Polly. She's the oldest person by far left in this competition, and she's struggling. She is drenched from her track, swimming to the island, and she's just shivering. And I don't know if she's going to be able to make it much longer. The family is also wondering if they should extract her. So, yeah, we have our top three teams, and I think it should be an interesting finale next week. But
Who's your
that's it
winner
for
pick, David? Since the finale's next week.
yeah, I think with the story we've gotten, Roman would be a good winner, but I do think there's something about RJ's family where they've played things really well, especially with that intercept card. So I kind of think it's going to be RJ's family.
Well, there you go.
What do
That's
you
your
think?
that's your pick, everyone. RJ's winning extracted. As someone who has
Mhm.
watched a grand total of one episode of this season, cool.
Okay, well,
I tuned into Sandra. I tuned in for Sandra and Nina. Let's just be honest. That's why I tuned in,
fair.
watched the premiere, realized that they were not going to be the focus of the narrative, and I dipped out. So
Okay, well let's move on to Australian Survivor. What'd you think about this group of episodes?
Well, I can certainly say that the merge of Australian Survivor has been significantly better than the pre-merge this season. Still not my favorite season of the show. I'll just be blunt, and I still do not like David as a host. Not you, sweetheart. You're doing great. But
Thanks.
um, but okay. So I want to focus on this last episode really quick before we get into the other two because we need to talk about the Blanche vote. But I want to talk about the Simon boot first, even if it happened last. I've seen some people, and I'm going to say people not being specific, but I'm also going to call out my co-host on this specific note, saying that this was a bad move. Um, I fully disagree with that. I think this was a really good move from Brook, specifically. Um, because I remember why Brook lost last time, because she couldn't get out the immunity threat at the end of the game. And I
Was she working
understand.
with him? Was she working with him though?
Okay, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. But here's the thing. I think the biggest knock I have against this is not that she got Simon out. It was the fact that I think she would have beaten him in the end had they been sitting next to each other. But I can't knock her for wanting to take out the person who's the biggest threat to her winning immunities because out of everyone who is left in this competition, there are some physically fit people, but she's been kind of steamrolling them when it comes to immunity. So I get where she's coming from. I mean, she's won 3 now. And the only other person who's won any is now gone. So I think she put herself in a good spot to keep winning. Now, granted, will she manage to win 9 in a row? I don't know. But what I can say is that
6 more, yeah.
6, it's a lot. Well, not 9 in a row, but 9 total. That would be the all-time Survivor record, I do believe. But I think she had to take the opportunity while it was available, and I think it could end up biting her. But it's not the worst call I've seen someone make on Survivor in the past. So I get the logic, at least, is where I'm at.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you why I disagree because we're at the top 8. It's a 4-4 split. This is an opportunity to solidify a majority, and she hasn't had the majority since that first episode of the merge. So I think if she doesn't want to be kaput, which I can't think of a time I've heard that word so many times in my life as I have this week. But if she doesn't want to be kaput, I think the best solution is to solidify a majority where she can knock out a few more people and then go after Simon if you want. But instead, she put herself in a do or die situation where I 100% believe the first chance they have to take her out when she does not win immunity, which she's not going to win 6 in a row. I'm calling it. She's not winning 6 in a row. She will be voted out the very first opportunity because she doesn't have the numbers. She lost all shot of having a majority that can help her get through without having the safety of immunity. She does have an idol, though, so that could work for her favor, right? I forgot about that.
I mean,
okay.
I do recall, though, we said the same thing about Mike Holloway, and look at how that turned out. So, I mean, I'm not going to say she is going to for sure win 5 of the next 6 immunity challenges. I don't know. But what I can say is that also, do we know if it's a final 2 or if they're going to do another non-elimination episode? I don't know if we know at this point. Do we know?
I mean, even if it's final 2, they still have to do another non-elimination episode. That's my assumption, is that we're getting a final 2. But yeah, the only way that if they did no non-elimination episodes, then we would start the finale with 2 people, which would be insane.
I mean, we did it on Drag Race All Stars. I don't know why we can't do it on Aussie. But
I guess that's true.
Yeah, I'm conflating 2 things that have no sort of connection to each other whatsoever. But rewinding a little bit, I want to talk about the absolute brilliance of this Blanche vote. Oh, lovely, beautiful, beautiful. From top to bottom, a beautiful call from, Brook and Keely. I think they both played this incredibly well.
And Ben and Jackson.
I think. Okay. Do I think them splitting on Brook and Blanche was the right call? No. I think there were other options that could have been done to further themselves in the game. However, this idol play, stunning. This entire tribal council was just incredible to watch from start to finish. I like watching Brook and Keely find a way to get through each round. It's become the only reason I'm still tuning into Aussie, I'll be honest. And I'm hoping
Keely's grown on me a ton.
She has been a lot better now that Mark is not in the game. I've enjoyed her a lot more. So hopefully we'll get to see them keep doing it. I will say this was a strong week for Aussie, all things considered. I'm hoping it keeps the trajectory. That's just where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. So starting off the week we had, I thought it was so funny how Ben was so bitter that Caleb was getting the credit for the Mark vote. Like Ben has become one of my least favorite people from this cast. Like, and it's just because he's unlikable. Like, sure, he's a good TV character, but he feels like he wants to be David so bad. He wants to be the Golden God so bad. He's copying the way he does confessionals, and he just doesn't have that sort of charisma for me. So I thought that was funny. But I do think that it was smart of Ben and Jackson that they clocked which idol was real and which one was fake. So that's why I wanted to give them some credit for the Blanche vote, because assuming Keely does have a real idol and logically would play it for herself, I thought it did make sense to keep the majority on Brook, get Simon to flip, which somehow they did, and have your alliance member you care about the least go home. So I thought that was really smart how they played that. So that was an incredible episode all around. I love that tribal council. Yeah. Also, Simon with his cheesy speech after winning the immunity. I thought that was pretty funny. But I think maybe the most impressive thing for me this whole week was that second tribal council, where it really seemed like there was no chance that the returnee alliance was going to be able to pull off what they needed to. But Simon getting Jackson to flip was pretty incredible. Like I couldn't believe it, especially when Jackson said, "This is my move and it's Brook," and he just shut it down. I was like, okay, it makes sense. But then when Jackson voted for Ben, man, gagged.
Mhm.
I don't even think it was the best decision for Jackson, though. Like, sure,
I
it was a
mean,
big
look,
move, but
let's just call a spade here. Simon, you did the damn thing. I can't be too mad. Like, it was a
yeah,
really great play. And I mean, honestly, Brooke and Keeley, I mean, they were just as much a part of this as Simon
right.
was. But now that Simon is gone, I actually think this was a really good thing for Jackson because
Mm,
if Brooke is the target, right, when it comes to everyone here, the second she loses, she's out the door, right? I think that puts Jackson in a really good position to start winning these immunities on the backstretch. And I wouldn't be shocked if he makes it deeper, maybe even all the way to the end at this point, just based on positioning. I could see
I
it.
would not be shocked if he wins, honestly, because I think since like week 2, the people that have stuck in my mind as potential winners have been Caleb and Jackson, which is very interesting considering how they have their own little rivalry. So I
Mhm.
still am betting one of them is going to win. I do think Sally's story has been told a lot since episode 1. So I do think she's going to go far. I think she's probably going to be second place, if I'm being honest. But I don't know. It's a really interesting season. I was pretty down on it pre-merge, but like you, I think it's really picked up post-merge. Is it my like in my top 2 or 3 Australian Survivor seasons ever? No, but I think it's pretty close to what the standard has been the past few years. So I'm so happy it's picked up. And I will say this one last thing. Simon, I've never been a fan of Simon, but I actually did like him this season. And I think the key ingredient, and we're the opposite on this, Brook, but having him on a season where George isn't there, he was more tolerable for me. But I'm a big fan of George. So when he keeps forcing this rivalry that he didn't need to with George, just made him off-putting for me. So I finally like you, Simon. And just when I
As
liked
a
you, you left.
as a
George
certified
hater
George
over here.
hater, I have always liked Simon. So I will say this was his most impressive performance, I think, in terms of his gameplay. Um, because he wasn't an overconfident, cocky jerk, and he wasn't a clueless Neanderthal the entire season. He actually played a really solid game from top to bottom this time, and I think he just didn't see the shot coming from behind at this point. I think it was just he just caught him off guard. That's all I have to say about that. Um, yeah, Aussie.
Yep. And I was wrong. Brooke doesn't have a full idol. She only has half an idol. So we'll see if that works out for her. But let's move on to another season of Survivor, Survivor 50.
So I did the recap for Survivor 50 this week, and I had a lot to say. So I'll keep my comments relatively brief. The Blood Moon twist overall, not my favorite, but I think there's potential there if they had just canned the double last week and made it 3 groups of 6 and just kind of made it like a swap into every tribe is going to tribal council. If that would have been how it was presented, I think it would have been a lot better than this like, hey everybody, you're merging and then 2 people are going to exile and all this. This is just too much. I think the way they presented it was not correct. But if they would have said, haha, all 3 tribes are going to tribal and there's a swap first, like that would have been cool and nuts and crazy and fun. I cried when Colby got eliminated because this tribal council was quite emotional, and I love him to pieces. I feel bad for Genevieve; she got screwed. I feel bad for Camilla; she got even more screwed. But as a forever member of Team Chrissy, I am thrilled. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah. So I think one thing about Survivor is please stop hyping up things as much as you do before the episode airs. Like you're saying, this is going to change the game forever. This is one of the best tribal councils ever. Just let the episode speak for itself, because when you hype things up that much, it's it makes it hard to not be disappointed. And I was slightly disappointed with this episode just because of the buildup for it. Because I did not think that the 3 tribes going to tribal council was as mind-blowingly groundbreaking as they built it up to be. I mean, sure, it's one more group than we see every other season. But highlights for me this episode, of course, I love Sari working with Ozzy. I love Sari working with Rizzo. I absolutely adore them as a polyamorous throuple here.
Tarazi!
Right, yes, right now, Sarazi is my top 3. I would love it if they could somehow make it to the top 3. I don't see it happening, and it would be pretty impossible. But Ozzy and Sari have always been 2 of my all-time favorite players. Rizzo is really putting himself up there, and it's really the association with those 2 that's really doing it for me. So I love that. Love seeing Ozzy and Rizzo hang out on Exile together.
Can confirm they did cuddle. Can confirm.
I thought they weren't allowed. Yeah, I thought that was banned, honestly. But
well,
I guess they
not
broke
according to Ozzy. Apparently, Rizzo was the big spoon even. So there you go.
True. Another highlight from this episode for me was when Coach went up to Dee and was saying that Emily was wanting her out soon and that he knew this information. And Dee is really showing why she's such a strong winner, because she immediately is like, okay, why didn't you tell me this earlier? And Coach just putting his foot in his mouth was peak television for me. Like, I do like Coach. He's not always likable every season. He's not likable this season. But just seeing him have his ass handed to him with such a subtle reply, I thought that was brilliant. So good on you, Dee. Coach, do better with your lies next time. But yeah, as far as how the vote outs went, yeah, Genevieve never stood a chance. I kind of felt bad for her, especially finding 2 idols. But maybe don't make it so obvious who you're coming for. Like, you made it so obvious, girl, that you didn't want to work with Aubrey. And I get why, but maybe keep that information closer to the chest, and then you wouldn't have had the problem that you had.
Can I
Chrissy,
make a quick
I do
note here,
sure.
real quick, talking about Genevieve. In the recap episode, I said I think her best play was to go after Joe instead of trying to get to work with Joe to flip Rick. I still think that was a better call. But I also think this is just another prime example as to why the boomerang idols are problematic in practice. Because in an alternate timeline, Genevieve has 2 immunity idols, plays one at this tribal council, then Aubrey plays one, Joe gets voted out, and suddenly we're in a really, really interesting merge without Joe. But because that's what would have happened. I mean, well, there's also the world where Genevieve plays both of her idols, Aubrey plays her idol, and then Rick gets serene out of Survivor 50, which is a whole other can of worms.
Right.
But there's a world where that could have been the craziest tribal we've ever had. And Rick Devens goes home on without an idol. That would be crazy. But no, I think the biggest problem I have with it is that Genevieve didn't do anything wrong. In fact, she was in a really good spot across the board and had done a lot of things right. I think these idols are problematic, and I would hope they don't return again, at least not in this way, taking the presence over actual idols on the season.
I agree with that. But yeah, I want to talk about the Chrissy group going to tribal council. So it was Chrissy versus Camilla. For me, I like them both a lot. Like, they're 2 people I was really excited to see in this cast. But more so by who they're associated with this season, I was rooting for Camilla. I do think the internet has taken something that Chrissy said and twisted it, because when she said we're cut from the same cloth, I do not for 1 second think that Chrissy meant we are cut from the same cloth because we're all white. And the internet has really gone hard on her. She's deleted her Twitter. I don't know if she's deleted all of her social media. But just, I do not for 1 second think that that's what she meant when she was trying to get Jonathan to work with her and Stephanie. I think she just saw Jonathan was the swing vote, and she knew that what would appeal to him. And based on his first season, he seems like somebody who would want to play like honorable, boring Survivor. So I get her trying to say we're cut from the same cloth as far as that, not as far as we're both white, stick with us because we're white. Even if she did mean that, it would be so wild to say that. Like nobody in their right mind would say that on television. So cut Chrissy some slack, please. But yeah, I was disappointed to see Camilla go. Love her. But yeah, unfortunately, that's how things shook out. But I do think the highlight of the episode was that final tribal council, especially having three big icons of the franchise. We had three of our four heroes versus villains people in this final tribal council in Sari, Coach, and Colby. But I do think it was special how they basically made it a love letter for them, specifically Colby. And it meant a lot to me because my very first season of Survivor that I watched was season 2, Australian Outback. I love that season so much. I was incredibly invested the whole time it was airing back in 2001. So just getting to see kind of the full circle story, especially knowing how things went the past couple times Colby played, and it wasn't a great experience for him. Getting to see him leave with such dignity was really impactful for me. So yeah, I absolutely understood why you would cry during this moment. So yeah, I just really was moved.
Yeah, and I talked about it in the recap too. Something I haven't really talked about so much is how much Colby meant to my Survivor fandom, right? Because the first season of the show I watched was China, but I stopped watching after China because I was young and dumb and whatever. But I got back into Survivor because TV Guide was airing a recap of Heroes vs. Villains. They were airing all the episodes on TV Guide before Philippines came out. I don't know why, but it was just a marathon they were doing on TV Guide. Mm-hmm. And I tuned in for some reason. I don't remember why. But I really liked Colby, and I can't really explain why. And when Colby got announced for the season, I wasn't exactly thrilled because I didn't think he had much to offer. But now that I've seen it, I think Colby it was lovely seeing Colby one more time. And I cannot believe I'm saying this and honestly believing this and do defend this. I think he played his best game on this season. From a competitive Survivor standpoint, even if he is a one vote away from winning the game in Australia, I think this is the best game I have seen Colby play. So I'm going to miss him, and I'm happy that he didn't end up getting medevaced, which he allegedly almost was. So,
right. Yeah. Another interesting thing, though, is I saw this statistic online, I think on Twitter, but we saw from that original tribe, we saw that 5-person alliance that built up between Colby, Genevieve, Stephanie, Kyle, and Q. And somebody pointed out that so we've lost 4 of those 5 people. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but the only person who's actually voted out of those 5 people is Stephanie. The other 4 are all gone without ever having cast a vote this season, mm-hmm. which is wild to think about. So,
yeah.
Yeah, please stop taking away people's votes.
Stop taking away people. Stop letting people lose their vote. The only way to lose your vote that is acceptable to me is a shot in the dark. Otherwise, stop letting people lose their vote. It's not fun. Don't like it.
Agreed.
The vote is inscrutable.
Yes, I agree. Okay, let's move on to House of Villains.
Have fun, David.
Okay, so yes, we left on a cliffhanger last episode, and I was pretty certain New York was going to be the 3rd nomination, and luckily I was wrong. It was Christine. Christine is the 3rd nomination, and I was surprised. And we immediately see like Paul basically telling Christine, "Oh yeah, if you got me and Drita in New York, then you're good. And New York went off on Paul. Like, she was so upset. She's like, how dare you? Like, this was just the two of them alone. How dare you offer up my vote? I forget what she called him. She called him a cumbersome something. But Paul is smart, and he knows immediately, oh yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. Like, he did not fight back. I think he knows who he can fight with and who he cannot fight with. And New York is somebody you never want to fight with. We got to see this challenge, and the three people who are up for elimination, they each had one of their besties come in. And so we got to see Jervis come in and be Tyson's bestie in the challenge. So it was really good to see the Coconut Bandits reunited. But I pretty much knew immediately when I saw the challenge, I'm like, yeah, this is Tyson's to lose. Basically, they had a big pipe, and they had, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a metal ring with two handles that were on either side of the pipe. So both of them are holding a handle, and they have to go down this pipe with this metal ring without touching the pipe. It's kind of like what's that doctor game? I forget what it's called. Operation, yes. But Tyson and Jervis were doing really well. They only hit it once. So they had to start over. But yeah, sure enough, they do win this challenge. And then everybody got to see their besties. So we got to see a few familiar faces because I knew Jervis, obviously. Josh Martinez was there as Paul's bestie. But the person I was most excited about, and I saw him in the preview last week, was Chance, the Stallionaire from I Love New York season 1. He was there as New York's bestie.
What?
Yes. And he was just as... No,
what?
Yeah. You have to watch this episode because he was just so fun. Like seeing Chance interact with Tyson and Jervis, and everybody's like, what is this character? Like, what is he saying?
So wait, who was he? Who was his bestie for? New York?
New York, yeah. Yeah,
but I thought she wasn't on the hit list.
No, they ended up, so they had the 3 people compete with their besties, but then afterwards they had a big get together party rave thing where everybody in the game got their bestie to come out.
I'm gagged by that. Yeah. Oh my lord!
That's why Chance was there. That's why Josh.
Years. Where's he been?
I mean, he still looks great. I don't know. I do not know where he's been. Last time I saw him, I think, was Real Chance of Love season 2. But I think he did something I think New York had some other show, and I think he was on there, but I can't remember what show that was. But it was so cool to see him. And there was a lot of fighting at this get together. And Tyson realized all of my allies are the ones getting into this drama. Because we saw Tom and Kate fighting. We saw New York and Kate fighting. And it was very entertaining. One of my favorite lines. So New York is very aligned with Tom Sandoval and Tyson Apostle, and I love it. They're an amazing alliance for me. It's a dream. But New York said, and I lost it. She said, "I'm protecting these white men. You might as well call me Pocahontas." I lost it. It was so funny. But we saw this conversation where New York and Kate were talking, and New York's trying to get Kate to vote out Christine as a tiebreaker, because obviously Tom has 2 votes to say, Tyson and New York. And then it seems likely that Paul and Drita are going to vote to keep Christine. So it's going to be up to the supervillain to break the tie, and that's Kate. So New York is like, Tom really wants to stay. And Kate's like, yeah, okay. Why don't you just take his place? Why don't you volunteer to take his place on the hit list? And New York was like, do not play with me, bitch. Do not even go there. She put Kate in her place. And Kate backed down a little bit, but not fully. So it was kind of interesting to see those 2 get into it. But the more I watch this episode, I think I've figured out who the winner is. I think I'm getting a winner's edit from somebody. And it's not somebody that initially I expected, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. But I think some of the confessionals we're getting from Drita is letting me know that she could be the winner in the end. And last week we saw in the episode that Tyson and Tom were pushing Drita as somebody who could win. She hasn't been voting out the people who've been leaving, and they're going to come back as a jury and vote for the winner. So just her voting for everybody who's gone so far to stay, that could be enough to solidify several jury votes. And with this show, like looking at its first two winners, it is not the person who played the hardest strategic game that gets the vote in the end, or that wins that way. It's often the person who has their hands kind of clean. So I think that if Drita makes it to the final two, she could very easily get enough votes. Now, will I be excited about Drita as a winner? Absolutely not. Like, she's by far, well, her and Christine are the two people who really haven't done much this season. But I think what I've come to terms with House of Villains is it really is about the journey and not the destination. And I think the journey this season has been incredible. Like, I liked the first two seasons. This third season, by far, is my favorite season of House of Villains. This feels really refreshing when I get to this episode every Thursday, get to watch. It is so much fun. I can't believe how much I'm liking this season. I haven't seen what other people are saying on the streets. I don't know if other people are as high on the season as I am, but I'm loving it. We did get a potential tease of a 4-person alliance because Tom, Tyson, New York, they realize, we probably need another person to vote with us. So let's try Paul. Paul might listen. He might be rational. If we got that 4-person alliance, like euphoria for me, I would love that. But when it came down to the votes, we did see that Paul did not vote to keep Tom. I'm not surprised. So it was a 2-2 tie. And we left off on a cliffhanger yet again. So that's one thing I don't like. I don't like cliffhangers, but we do know that Kate is going to be the tiebreaker vote. Do I see a world? I do not see a world where she keeps Tom, especially after all the fights that we saw. We saw her fighting with Tom this episode. We saw her voting with New York, or fighting with New York this episode. I just can't see it. I think, and I don't even know that it would be the right move to keep him because him and Tyson are so close. Him, Tyson, New York are a trio. So, yeah, that's hard to beat. But also, I don't think it's great to beat Christine because when is anybody going to target her? When's anybody going to get her out? And she's another person who could fill up a spot in the end and get jury votes for doing nothing because that's how jurors vote in House of Villains. So, I guess we'll see. But, yeah, like I'm going to say like 99% sure Tom is gone.
There you go.
But, yep. Okay. Well, we do have some reality news, so let's go ahead and. Okay. First up on news, we had unexpected for me on YouTube. There was a drop of a Beast Games Season 2 reunion. So, and see what happened. So they had all of the top 10 from season 2 of Beast Games, except for Corey, the runner-up. He wasn't able to make it. So we saw all of them getting together and talking. And Nick, he had that controversial moment where he had the $1 million and he could decide how much he took before letting other people take their portion. And he took $250K. He said he regrets it, but not for the reason you're thinking. He wishes he took more. He wishes he took. Yeah,
as he should.
He wishes 500K, which I could kind of see.
Don't ever put me in that position where I get to look at this field of $1 million and I can take as much of it as I want before other people do. You all are going to be left with a solid $9, $1 for each of you. I'm taking $999,000. $999,991 to be more specific. I'm taking all but $9, so that way each of you may have $1.
Well, what's interesting is like in that round of Beast Games for both seasons, where they can take whatever money and then the second person gets to take whatever portion they want, so on and so forth. And the 10th person gets whatever's left over. But they use the money that they get to potentially bribe people to get voted through in the next round. So I actually think the best idea would be like, hey, I'm going to take all of it. I'm going to take $1 million. And what I'm going to do during the bribe round is you all vote me through. I'm going to evenly distribute this out. So we're each going to get 100K now. So just vote me through because I did right by everybody. So nobody else after me could screw anybody else over. I think that would be a good way to go, but I think people still might be a little bitter that they didn't even get the opportunity to take whatever they want.
If they vote me out, they vote me out. I'm not bribing them with anything. I got $1 million. That's the win. That's a win for me.
True. We did get a surprise guest. So we had a conversation where they were talking to Jack about his decision when they were locked up in the rooms. He switched some cards strategically so that in a fair game, him and Tyler would move on, and Sue from Survivor 47 would be eliminated. So they brought Sue out as a surprise guest to confront Jack. And she was clearly still upset about this because she had no idea that happened until she watched it on TV. She thought she was eliminated in a fair game. She watched it on TV and was completely blindsided that he had strategically screwed her out of the game. So she called him out on it, and he held his ground and said he didn't regret doing it. He did end up saying that he regretted not telling her about it before it aired on TV. But initially it was like, oh, I couldn't because we all signed NDAs. I wasn't allowed to. And she's like, whatever, you could have told me. Like, no, we all signed NDAs, but that doesn't mean we don't still talk about things that happen. And she's absolutely right. I do think he was hiding behind that. But that was probably the biggest dramatic moment from the episode. We did find out, and I don't know if I just missed this or if it didn't air in the episode, but Jim and Monica apparently got married on the Beast, like in the Beast City. I never saw that happen, and apparently Jack was ordained, so he did that during the game for them. They didn't sign anything. Yeah. So I don't know how official it is. I think Jim was like, oh yeah, it's common law or something like that. But I don't know, but they're still together. They share an apartment together. Most of everything else that they talked about in the reunion was filler, but it was fine. It was kind of good to get some closure on a few stories, but overall, pretty good reunion.
Yay. I heard the season of Beast Games is better than the last one, so yeah. Additionally, in further social strategy news, Richard Hatch, winner of Survivor Borneo and notable tax evader, owes $3.2 million in taxes. Sorry, $3.3 million in taxes for his Survivor winnings, including interest. And he has been to jail for that twice now, but he is appealing the current court ruling he has just received regarding that amount of money. I'll just be blunt. Richard, you should have paid your taxes to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, he's always said, like, since this happened, that he was under the impression that he didn't have to pay because the winnings were in a different country. He's the only person who actually got the money in a different country. He got cash. He didn't wait and get a check when he got back home. And he also was told that CBS would be paying the taxes, according to him. So I don't know how true that is. I do feel like it's a bit of a witch hunt at this point. I think it's ridiculous to have that much interest, especially since he's done a lot of time behind bars. So I'm rooting for him in this case. Yeah, he should have paid the taxes, but at this point, it seems ridiculous what they're doing.
I would agree. I'm not gonna like harp on, oh, you should have paid your taxes. Like, I was mostly joking, but at the same time, it's a bit dumb. It's been 25 years. Like, can we let the man breathe? That's all I have to say about that. But beside the point. So hopefully Richard gets off this one because I don't think he deserves that.
Right. I agree. But let's go on and move to our final section for the night. Let's talk about some drag. Okay. At this point, we only have one season of drag on our TV, and it is season 18 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Not feeling it?
No. I wasn't here last week. And I think you all should probably be thankful I wasn't here last week. Because I would have said some really mean things to the show if I was here last week.
I would have had somebody on my side.
Okay, here's my thing. Okay. I don't care about really anything regarding the season at this point. Mikey will win almost guaranteeably. She will be a fine winner. I don't have a problem with Mikey winning, but this will be the worst season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Period. In terms of my enjoyment as a fan, I haven't enjoyed the season at all because, quite frankly, these queens are incredible. This is nothing to do with the queens. Let me make that abundantly clear. This is all has to do with the editing and the structure of this season. Not having a ball on Drag Race this season, questionable. Absolutely tanking the edit for so many of these queens. For what reason? Having statistically the single strongest competitor we have ever had on Drag Race, and this is pure statistics, going home in 5th. Okay, had she bombed, I understand. We have saved people for less. We have. And I mean, let's be honest, someone got saved this week that had a significantly worse track record than Jane did, because you cannot convince me that Nene beat Juicy in this lip sync. You can't, and you won't. This final 3, I like them all. I don't have a feeling of negativity towards any of them. All of the negative feelings I have are towards the edit and towards production this season. And just the overall decision that we will never crown a big girl on a mainline series of Drag Race. It's not possible. We still have yet to crown a big girl winner for US period. Ginger does not count because she didn't win until she went on Ozempic.
Right.
I'm sorry. Let's just call a spade here. Okay. We are 28 seasons into US Drag Race now? We are not going to have a big girl win. We're not. It's not going to damn happen. It won't happen because anytime we have a big queen succeed, they have to find a way to completely remove them from the equation in some capacity. We have had 5 or 6 different big girls that could have won the crown on a variety of seasons at this point. You could have had Ginger win. If Latrice had made the finale in season 4, you could have had Latrice win. You could have had Eureka win. You could have had Jane win. You could have had Nina West could have won had she beaten Silky in that lip sync. She absolutely should have beaten Silky in that lip sync in, I might add. There are plenty of people who could have won to show that the show actually isn't just about skinny twig people in drag. It isn't about this conventional form of beauty. But no, they still won't do it. And they still aren't going to do it. And that is, in my opinion, the entire reason that Jane went home is because they did not want to have a big girl win the show. That's just where I'm at.
Interesting. Okay.
Give me another reason, because we're a week removed from
ratings. I don't know.
Ratings, okay, but the rating, what does it matter?
I don't know if the ratings even went up, but it got people talking.
It's got people pissed. That's the thing. And I hate whenever shows are like, oh, well, these shocking eliminations, they get buzz. Yeah, it's because people aren't happy at the show. We don't like watching shows that fuck with us, right? It's the same reason that a bunch of other reality shows end up going off the deep end, is because they start trying to go for shock value instead of actually just producing a good, solid competition. Drag Race has made it 18 seasons primarily because the show for a long time was a fair competition where, for the most part, the person who performed the best was the winner. I don't think I can say that this season. I can't.
I don't know. I mean, we still have another really good track record, like an all-time great track record for
This
Mikey.
has nothing to do with Mikey. I want to make that
Mhm.
abundantly clear. Mikey will be a lovely winner. I am happy that Mikey is probably going to win. If Darlene or Nene win, I'll be gagged, but I won't be like mad. But Jane, overall, across every single global franchise, is probably the single strongest competitor we have ever had on Drag Race.
She's very well-rounded. Mm-hmm.
She is very well rounded. She had 10 weeks in the top.
That's the problem.
10. I don't get it. And I know people are gonna say, well, she lost the lip sync. Yeah, she did lose the lip sync. She shouldn't have been in the bottom two, but she did lose the lip sync. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when Darian ate up Dayla? Anybody remember that? Because I remember when Darian ate up Dayla. Point of no return.
Not too much on Dayla.
Okay, no, but Darian won that lip sync objectively, right? Dayla got saved. You remember that time when Simone ate up Candy? Candy got saved.
Yep. I talked about that last week on here.
Yeah, we've seen it before. I'm not saying that, oh, she won and this is rigged. I don't think she won, but I also think given her track record and given every single bit of amazing drag that she has brought to this show, there is no way for the season to have a satisfying winner for me at this point. It's kind of like I was going back and rewatching some of the All Stars 8 coverage, and you said something in one of those episodes, David, where it was the Rusical, and you said, yes, Jimbo should have been in the bottom here, but let's be honest, had Jimbo went home, this season wouldn't have a satisfying winner. Same thing. This season will not have a satisfying winner. Regardless of Mikey having an incredible track record in her own right, the season won't have a satisfying winner for me. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's get into a few things about the episode. So I was actually kind of gagged by seeing how sad the queens were gone. I would think that as a competitor, the first response would be like, wow, we got our biggest competition out, but it really did seem like most of them, their first thought was, wow, there's my friend. There's somebody who absolutely deserved to get to the end. They're all crying. And I'm like, wow, that's showing humanity that I didn't expect from people in a competition.
Yeah.
And then we find out what the challenge is. And this is the only thing that made me be like, well, I can see why it would be an issue to have 5 people, because we have 2 sets of 2 in this Good Morning Bitches challenge. So what would you have done? I guess you could have done a group of 3, but that still would have been a little weird. But they do their Tic Tac thing in this episode. It's a bit of filler. For some reason, we have a bit where there's AI paintings, which I did not think was necessary. Mm-hmm. The internet's very unhappy about that, and I get that. Stupid. Yeah. I will say the person that kind of had a breakout episode for me, and it really started in the Tic Tac episodes. So if you've been watching the Reality Roundup, you will know that I think Darlene is extremely overrated. I think every time she gets any sort of high or win, I would have had her a little bit lower. So I'm not getting it like everybody else is. I think she's a lovely person. She's surely likable, but I don't think she's the best at Drag Race. But with this episode, we got conversations with her talking about her relationship with her husband and her fiance and becoming sober together. We also saw her talking about like having to put her whole family in a group chat to announce, oh, I'm going on Drag Race. And this was her way of telling them that she did drag and she didn't get support from everybody. So this really was a great episode of making her even more endearing for me. Like she's probably the most likable person in this top 4. But then we get to the challenge. So I have my rankings for the challenge. It was so cut and dry. The top 2 and the bottom 2 for me. Yeah, because that first group, it was rough. It was rough for Juicy and Nene. So my rankings overall were Juicy number 4, Nene number 3. And I think part of that is just her scene partner and having to like fix things that Juicy was doing wrong. And then the top two by far were Darlene, number 2 for me. And number 1 for me was Mikey. I thought Mikey did such a good job of breaking character in the right way. Like there were several times where you could just tell she was playing it off the cuff. And I think that first group was so rigid with their script that they had come up for an improv challenge. And so that didn't give them the opportunity for natural comedy like we got from both Darlene and Mikey. Yeah, they were cracking me up. And Zane calling Darlene breakfast Mickey Mouse, like that made me laugh out loud. That was great. But this was a fun challenge overall, but just for that second group. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much just agree with almost everything that just came out of your mouth, David. I think Darlene and Mikey were about even for me. I'm not like picking whatever between the two of them really didn't mount to much for me. They were just clearly the better group here. Yeah, Juicy and Nene did not do the best this week, and I think it was kind of hard to watch at times. But I mean, yeah, I think the judging on the whole, I agree with. I am not going to disagree with any of that.
Yeah. It's funny though, because I've seen the internet saying this should have just been a Darlene win. And I do think this for me by far the most I've liked Darlene in a challenge. I thought she was great in the challenge. For me, like I said, I thought Mikey was better, but let's talk about the runway. I do think it was funny because the two worst in the challenge for me were the two best on the runway. I like Nene's the best, then Juicy's. And then there's a bit of a gap. And then for me, Mikey. And then by far, number 4 was Darlene for me. It just felt like a basic design challenge look. So if you're factoring that in, don't tell me that Darlene should have got a solo win when she was by far worse than Mikey in the runway. Be grateful it's a double win.
Well, David, do you not remember what you said about Masked Singer earlier? It's about the story, right? If you throw out the runway and you give Darlene a win here by herself instead of Mikey, it makes the finale at least a little bit more interesting. I think that's my only thought. Do I think that Darlene should have gotten a solo win here? In terms of from a competition perspective, no. I think the two of them winning together, I have no problem with that. Cool. But from a narrative standpoint, it would make things a little bit more interesting going into a supremely lopsided finale with someone who has been in the top for 8 weeks in a row. And has won 4 challenges. So personally, I see where they're coming from a narrative perspective, I will say.
Sure.
Now, I also want to talk about this lip sync real quick.
You mean the lip sync that Van Gogh and Ebony LaBelle just won? They both won.
Yeah. So
for me,
lip syncing to Super Graphic Ultra Modern Girl by Chapel Roan, right? Which lovely song choice, Drag Race. You ate on that one. Juicy won. Like, what the hell? Juicy won. Juicy won. Clearly, Juicy won. Objectively, Juicy won this lip sync. You cannot tell me otherwise. And I know people online are going to be like, oh, you don't need to do tricks and splits and dips and stuff. No, but she did them well and executed them perfectly when they were appropriate to the song. Whereas, I just want to be clear here. To borrow a quote from Sasha Velour, a queen that combines the thrill of smiling with the thrill of just standing there. That is what Nene Coco was giving in this performance. I'm sorry. I cannot. I mean, I can believe it. It makes sense for Drag Race to do something like this, but real talk. They just want Juicy in the Lollapalooza. That's all it is. They want Juicy in the Lollapalooza. That is what they want, and they're going to get it. Juicy's probably going to win the Lollapalooza. Congratulations. But Nene lost his lip sync, and her being in the finale is not my favorite. I'll just say that.
Yeah, so I kind of alluded alluded to it earlier, but I think the finale lip sync that we got in Canada's Drag Race 6 was significantly better than this one. I was kind of underwhelmed with both Nene and Juicy. Um, I I love a good trick in a lip sync, and I thought we were going to get both of those from both queens in this. But for me, I do think it felt like a little bit too much from Juicy. Like I will say, like the one thing where she did the flip into kind of like laying down, that was pretty cool. But then it just kind of felt desperate for me a lot. But Nene was kind of giving like, do something, Charlie. Like I just couldn't believe that she didn't even try to do anything special. I think she was constricted by what she was wearing. But I was extremely disappointed with Nene. I do agree that Juicy was the winner. I don't think it was a significant margin, but I think they did her the biggest favor in the world by eliminating her because there's no realm, there's no possibility in the world where she was going to win in the finale. But I think she does have a very strong chance in that lip sync Lollapalooza. And I'm kind of surprised she didn't throw it. Like that's as soon as the performance started, I wrote down in my notes, I'm like, oh yeah, you should throw this, Juicy. And she didn't. I mean, she tried.
I mean, I look at who's on the table for that Lollapalooza. There's only a couple people I think have a realistic shot to win it. But I mean, to be fair, if you would have told me going into the season 15 edition that Megami was going to be who I thought should win it coming out of it,
true.
I don't know if I would have believed you. So here we are.
Yeah. I think her and Mia are the ones to beat.
Or 16, not 15, 16.
Yep.
Mia, I mean, Kenya's also a very good lip syncer when she tries.
Yeah, if she can get the words right.
They're all RuPaul songs. They're all RuPaul songs, unless you get Call Me Mother.
Some of those are tough.
Unless you get Call Me Mother, the lyrical density is not much, okay? But yeah.
I thought it was going to be a double Shantae, though. I don't know if you ever thought that. There was just something, especially hearing the confessionals we were getting from Mikey and Darlene, like, wow, I can't even call this. I was like, this is going to be a double Shantae, because often they try to lead the audience with what the confessionals are saying. So the fact that we were getting kind of the ambiguous, I don't know who's winning this from those two, I thought we were going to get that same decision from RuPaul.
I didn't think it was going to be a double Shantae because I didn't think it was looking like one. But just me 100.
Even after Nene got the first Shantae You Stay, you didn't think like, I thought, oh, Juicy's going to get one too.
I'll be 100% honest. After Jane got eliminated last week, there's nothing the show could do to surprise me. So as much as I don't agree with the decision at all in any way, I wasn't too gagged by it.
Yeah. But I will say, now that we know our top three, I hear a lot of your critiques, but for me, Mikey is somebody that I liked in the beginning, but she has grown on me more and more and more each week. I honestly think at this point, I do like Mikey more than I even liked Jane. Just because there's something about her personality I connect more than Jane, even if Jane was super consistent throughout. So I'm 100% rooting for Mikey to win in this finale.
Team Darlene.
With most of the internet, I guess.
Yeah, okay. It's nothing to do with Mikey. It's just you really want to show these girls that track record doesn't matter, and all that matters is being like iconic and fun and different and unique and bringing a unique perspective to drag. Crown Darlene.
We've already gotten that from Evie. We've already gotten that from Willow. And I love both of those wins, even though they didn't have the best track record.
Well, I mean, Darlene has never lip-synced. Not lip-synced one time this season. So, I mean, she's not had a bad track record. She actually has a pretty strong one, all things considered.
Well, that's another thing. Did you watch Untucked?
No. Oh, okay. I did see the clip, though, where Ru said that Mikey should have been at the bottom of the talent show. Yeah, I saw that clip.
Yes.
But, I mean, if you're going to put Rita Queen in the game, you have to acknowledge the impacts that it may or may not have, RuPaul. Now, do it at the beginning of the season instead of halfway through for no reason and eliminating Sierra. But, whatever. Um, yeah, this season had a lot of problems structurally, and I kind of want to hop into the finale recap to broadly speak about my feelings on that. We'll see if I do or not. But yeah, here we are. Team Darlene.
Here we are.
Who's your pick to win the Lollapalooza going into it?
I think it's going to be juicy, and I'm perfectly happy with that. But yeah, I think there's part of me that's rooting for Mia as well, just because I think Mia was also somebody who was incredibly screwed.
I'm gonna root for Jane because she deserves to come out of this with something. But
Fair. Very fair.
would love to see Jane win. Would love to see. Honestly, I don't have anybody on this I wouldn't like to see do well. I think they're all probably going to do some level of good. I would love for Discord to win a lip sync. I think that would be fun.
Yes.
But yeah, that's just where I'm at.
Okay. Well, I think it's time to get into our final segment of reality news for the day. Okay. Okay, so there is a little show that Lana and I covered on this, or on the Drag Channel last year, called Drag House Rules, and we knew it was getting a season 2, but the official cast has been announced this season, and man, heavy hitters in here. So I'm going to tell you who's in season 2, and I'm very excited for this. So it's featuring Juju B yet again, Bibi Zahara Benet, Plain Jane, Scarlet Envy, Heidi in Closet, Ingeria Paris Michaels, Trinity the Tuck, Saphira Crystal, Selena Titties, Sherry Vine, and the person I'm most excited to see back is Tammy Brown.
Tammy Brown.
Yes. Tammy, I think I can speak for Lana and myself. Tammy was kind of the highlight of season 1. She was just so kooky and so funny throughout that first season. So I'm actually excited for this. I know a lot of people didn't love the first season. I would love if it actually was a reality show instead of a scripted show under the disguise of a reality show. That would be incredible, especially with this killer cast. But either way, I'm excited. Lots of dramatic personalities here. So it should be a fun time. We'll see if Lana and I cover it again. Probably not, but who knows?
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. This cast is really great. So we'll see how it turns out when the show comes out. So yeah. I hope, it's scripted. I hope they give the win to Scarlet. That's what I want.
Okay.
I want it to be Scarlet. Because, I don't know, it'd be fun. It'd be a fun thing. I mean, also, Interior winning another reality show would make my heart happy. But, I don't know. Give the Scarlet fans what they want.
I'm rooting for Saphira. Saphira is somebody who should have a win, so let this be her win.
Angie
her
winning
first
again.
win.
Would love to see that. Beside the point. On other great news, just speaking about her, Darlene Mitchell got married this past week to her longtime partner. They've been together for 10 years. And we actually got to hear her talk about how much her, at the time, Beyonce meant to her on this past episode during her TikTok chat with Ru. And it was very beautiful. So congratulations. Yay.
Yes. Very happy for her. I know I saw some Drag Race alum, I think a lot from this season, were there for the wedding. But that's really cool. It's kind of crazy how it worked out that it happened the same week that we saw that story play out on the show. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
But looks like we're leaving on a downer note with some sad news here. So Drag Race Philippines and World of Wonder, they have confirmed that while filming the 4th season of Drag Race Philippines, one of the contestants, Misua, I believe is her name, actually passed away during filming. She was found unresponsive in her bed. So we're not sure exactly how it played out. There's lots of questions. I know that the family is asking for privacy at this time, but I'm very curious if it's going to factor into the edit. I think it would be a shame if she reached her dream of getting on the show and they completely took her out of the show. So I really hope that they at least present her in the show for as long as she was there.
Well, allegedly, this is right at the very start of filming, and that the current rumor, and this is all what I have seen online, so please take this with a pinch of salt, is that it was a split premiere. They had just filmed the first premiere, and she was in the second, and she hadn't even been to the workroom yet. Is what I have been seeing. So if that is not true, and whenever we get the actual episodes out, I do apologize. That is just what I have seen from multiple different people online.
Okay.
But I mean, we do know that they have interaction. It's a community there, in the Philippines, and it's really unfortunate that this has happened in any respect. I saw her post that she had made about this being her year online. So I'm just going to go ahead and say condolences to anyone and everyone connected, because this is just it's a really shitty situation. There's just no other way to put it.
Yeah, especially condolences to the CDO community of the Philippines. I know Hannah Beshi and Kiana, they've been pretty expressive with their grief that they're going through right now over losing their friend. So it's extremely hard. But with that said, that is our final segment for today. So next week, we do have a few things happening. So we are moving our schedule once again for Australian Survivor. They are going back to Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I think it really just depends if there's a game going on the Tuesday, whether or not it's on Wednesday or Tuesday. But yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So keep that in mind. Avoid the internet if you need to until you can watch those episodes. We are also getting another show coming to a close, and that is Extracted. We have the finale coming up, so we are going to finally see who wins the second season of Extracted.
According to David, it's going to be RJ and RJ's family, so make sure that you're tuning into that, because David's going to either be right or wrong. Ha.
Also, it's wild. I keep forgetting that one of the people in headquarters is RJ's mom, because in no world does she look old enough to be RJ's mom. They look like siblings, honestly. But we should have Lana joining us back again for next week, 14. It's crazy. We're 1/4 of the way done with the year since this is week 13. But she should be back for week 14 recap. And we should be finally getting some more updates on Love Overboard from Lana. So should be a good time.
What's going on?
There is. It's going to slow down. I was looking at late May, and as of now, the final week of May, we don't have any confirmed shows that will be airing. So I think we are going to probably get a couple of Drag Race shows airing then. They just haven't been announced officially yet.
All stars.
Yes. But Brooke, thank you very much for filling in for Lana this week. I would have hated to do this all by myself.
I may not be as fun or as popular as Lana, but I will be just as opinionated. And that's something you can count on every time I'm here.
If not more. Okay, well, thank you everybody else for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the show. It's been a lot of fun to do. Please do us a favor, subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Please leave comments. I love reading those. We haven't been getting a lot of comments on this, so we don't know what feedback you all have. Please let us know what you think about this show. Also, like this video, share this video. All of that helps us a lot. And you can go ahead and follow our other channels too if you want to get updates on Drag Race and Eurovision. I'm sure you all might be talking about Eurovision again soon. We'll see. And one more thing. Please go ahead and get a cup mug, and you can use that QR code right there in the corner there. And so we're going to go ahead and get out of here. So we'll see you next time. Oh, watch another video. Cheers.
Bye.